However, there's a historical solution to the problem of evil, and that is the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Even in Job's experience, the book of Job has been this part of the Bible, has been this great test case of the question of the problem of suffering. How can a good God allow suffering? And there you hear lots of answers back and forth, sort of the way you do today, philosophers and theologians talking about it. But at some point, after listening to all of the different answers, Job says, you know what? Bottom line is, I know that my Redeemer lives, and that in this same body that is falling apart right now, decaying, covered with sores and disease, in this same flesh, I will be raised and will see my Redeemer with my own eyes as he stands upon this earth. I know my Redeemer lives. Ultimately, that's our hope. I don't have all the answers as to why God allows evil in the world, but the Bible does give us an answer about what he's done about it. He has assumed himself the debt that we couldn't pay, undoing that judgment, that curse that human beings have brought upon the world. He carried that himself. He paid that bill. He paid that debt. And he rose again from the dead, liberated from the bonds of sin and death, so that he could be the first fruits or the beginning of a new creation. And so we can be confident that the one who rose from the dead on the third day can be trusted when he says, Lo, I am with you even to the end of the age. And when I return, I will make all things new and wipe every tear from everyone's eye. Until then, I can't understand the mind of God. I don't have all the philosophical answers, but it will be resolved. And how do I know that? Because it already has been objectively resolved in the death and resurrection of Christ.
My one story, I guess, spans a couple of decades, and I can summarize it as succinctly as possible, is that I felt like when I was going through seminary, I didn't have a mentor. And in fact, most of my professors were hostile to the Reformed faith. And so I considered Dr. Sproul a mentor to me. I would listen to his tapes, audio cassettes. If you don't know what that is, Google it. And these weren't just the conference tapes or the popular stuff, the well-known stuff. These were like the history of theology, the history of philosophy. These were the old ones, I think, back from the Ligonier Valley. And so I felt like I just knew him so well. I would be in the library as a janitor in seminary listening to Dr. Sproul 3 to 4 hours a night, 5 days a week. And then I'd run out, call home, need more money, send tapes. And they'd send them in. And so, but it wasn't just through the tapes. I would write to him and I'd say, I know you're going to be in town. Any chance that you can, meet for a meal? And he took the time to meet with me and my friends. I didn't eat that morning because I didn't have the money for the buffet because it was too expensive. But my friends ate and then didn't pay. And I was like, you guys, I think you just stiffed Dr. Sproul. I hope that he didn't have to pay for that. I was like, I'm clean because I didn't eat anything. But then I was getting ready to go to grad school. I wrote to him. I said, is there any possibility I could talk to you on the phone and ask you some advice? He took the time out of his busy schedule to talk to me on the phone for like 45 minutes. And that's where, again, I can't do as good a voice as Ken did, but in his, his gruff voice, he's like, pack Turretin, make sure you pack Turretin. I was like, oh, it's already packed, it's going to be in there. But so I just, over the years, it wasn't just at a distance, but, from time to time, he would take that time to, to reach out personally and to connect. Even when I did a D-Min seminar for I guess it was for Ligonier when they had their D-Min, he and his wife took me out to dinner and, they treated me so kindly and were so encouraging. But in all of that, not only does it always teach me to try to, in a sense, fly as high as I can to learn as much as I can, but stay on the ground too, and to try to connect with everybody and anybody, and to laugh along the way. One last, anecdote. I was at a conference and I said, "Hey, Dr. Sproul, have you ever thought of maybe, starting a school where you would have a degree and you would call it a defensor fide or something like that?" And in his unique way, he said, "Young man, did God or Satan encourage you to ask that question?" And I was terrified. I was like, well, God, I hope. I don't know. So that collection of stories, it was just, he was always that way. And so it encourages me to learn, to pass on the truth to others, and to laugh along the way.
Picking your favorite child. What's your favorite systematic theology? You're on a desert island, you only get one of them, but you can bring all the value.
It's so hard. That is really hard. I still like to give students Berkhof. Just because, okay, you don't have time to read 4 volumes of Bavinck, so you're going to have Berkhof plagiarize the important points for you and translate it.
That's what nobody
into English,
realized until Bavinck was translated into English.
Right.
That he basically wonderfully plagiarized.
And so, it's a good introductory systematic still.